Hi, my name is Louise.
And hi, I'm Emma.
You're listening to Murder or Myth,
the true crime podcast where not everything is true.
The aim of the game is to find out whether the story is actually a murder or if it's a myth.
Now, let's get started. Hi, Louise.
Hi, Emma. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
That's good to know.
Excited to be recording our next set of episodes?
Yeah, really excited.
So you're going to kick us off with this one?
Yes, so let's get into it. This is the story of the Devil's Tooth cliff murder.
Okay.
So this story is somewhat of an urban myth itself. So I'm doubling down on the confusion of murder or myth. So let me get started. In New Jersey, there was an urban myth of a story of a dog who brought home its owner a human arm. Many believed it was a far-fetched story and untrue. However, it's actually the beginning of the murder of Jeanette de Palma at Devil's Tooth Cliff.
And why did people think it was false? Did he not have the arm, the owner?
No, people just around New Jersey would hear the story of a dog bringing home an arm and was kind of like, no, that's so not true.
That's
like, how could you even think of that? That would never happen. But alas, it was true. So I'll set the scene. It's August in 1972 in New Jersey, Springfield Township. So Jeanette is 16 years old and she tells her mother she's going to take a train to her friend's house. When she doesn't reach the friend's house or return home later that evening, her parents file a missing person report the next day. So, let's jump forward 6 weeks. A dog brings a human arm back to its owner. So, it's the human arm of a right forearm, partially decomposed, and the owner and dog are from an apartment block behind some woods. So, there's the setting.
Okay, they didn't file a missing report until the following day?
Yes, correct.
How come they waited till the following day?
I don't know.
You don't know. They just waited till the following day.
It's very, suspicious.
Yeah.
This as well, she was 16, so possibly could have been at a friend's house, could be staying somewhere else. It's 1972. I'm not sure, was there phones involved,
Okay.
Assuming everyone would have probably had a house phone, which is kind of like, why didn't they just ring?
They might have rang, but it didn't.
Maybe, but maybe they just were like, she's a smart girl, she'll come back in a while, like she's capable of surviving and whatnot.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Sounds believable so far.
Okay, that's good to know.
Minus the dog.
So, yeah, the dog lands back to its owner with a decomposing forearm, and the owner obviously brings that to the police and is like, this is what my dog got. So this leads to an investigation that finds a partially decomposed body up in the Hoodale Quarry. So this area is a rocky quarry with large cliffs surrounding it, and that's why it's called the Devil's Tooth Cliffs. Some say that it would be a place where teenagers would go out, hang out and drink, or just, loiter around the place. So Jeanette's body is found in woods on the cliff, and I'll get into the details shortly.
Okay.
So Jeanette was described as a normal girl who was good and like a normal teenager and just nice to be around. And as I said previously, she was 16. However, after this murder was found out, some rumours started going around that she would dabble in drugs and was a delinquent. But as far as I can tell, that was hearsay mostly because she was, as I said, a good person.
Seems good. Was it named the Devil's Tooth Cliff after this happened, or was that always the name?
No, that was there previously.
That was there previously? Yeah. Okay.
Because of how jagged the rocks
shape.
are and kind of very steep and inaccessible almost.
Yeah.
So Jeanette was actually part of a very Christian family in New Jersey. They were evangelicals. And at this time in 1970, there was a Jesus movement in America, as the hippie movement was kind of dying down.
Okay.
So she was described as a girl who wanted to bring God to other people. Now her parents said this.
Sounds like quite the delinquent.
Very much so. That's why I have to assume that the delinquent drug kind of story was just brought up afterwards by people who wanted to
a good gossip story,
spread rumors, etc. So her parents were like, no, she was an angel, amazing, and she was involved in a program that would assist young church members and youth around the area to rehabilitate them against drug addictions. So there was that. So that's a very good point on her part. But then others believed that she was in that due to her previous drug addiction.
Okay.
If you get me, okay. So her pastor, James Tate, was a very prominent commentator on the death and was one of many who believed and kicked off the idea that the murder was due to the occult.
To a cult?
To the occult. Like, just like...
the occult,
Satanism,
sorry. Yeah.
like magic, witches, warlocks, what have you. You know, rituals, ritualistic sacrifices, etc. So I go back to the scene now. We'll jump back. So that was 6 weeks after. 6 weeks she'd been missing for and found her body.
Had they found her body? Yeah, they found her full body with the arm missing.
Well, yeah, because the dog had the arm.
Dog had the arm.
Yeah.
Did it seem how the dog arm, like how the arm had been ripped off? Like, had the dog ripped it?
Well,
I wonder.
Like it's been 6 weeks, so the body was partially decomposing. So I wouldn't imagine it would have been hard to do.
Seems interesting that a dog would go near that. I feel like it wouldn't smell good.
Yeah, but like dogs like bones.
Yeah, true.
I guess. But yeah, I suppose dogs are like hunting. So her body was found on the top of a cliff in branches and had some rocks around it. The post-mortem yielded no results, no proper cause of death due to the state it was in, but it was noting that there was no obvious major trauma. Okay, so like the body was intact, nothing was broken, or like you couldn't see any blunt force trauma, anything like that. There was some personal belongings strewn around the place, so the police never had any real leads, and the trail quickly ran cold. However, once rumours started churning that this murder was due to the occult, everything kicked up. So all the evangelicals believe that Jeanette was killed due to her fate by Satanists. So they believe that it was a revenge killing and ritualistic. Some of those who were at the scene started to report that the body was laid out with a planned formation of logs and stones and branches around it. And many described it as a coffin shape. So it was planned, it was set up, it was like seen. Other rumours spread saying that there were animal sacrifices surrounding her also. Now, this narrative was being let like uncontrollably loose everywhere. And it was even reported that the police took a self-proclaimed witch to the site to assist with the investigation.
Interesting.
Yeah. So lots of things happening, and no one really knows what's true.
Yeah, a lot of rumours.
It's kind of like
flying around the place.
High prominent church people are spreading this and everyone's going with it. A week after Jeanette went missing, another girl went missing and was found dead in the same conditions, no obvious death cause. The two were never linked, even though they were really close in proximity. So like it kind of goes to show how easy it was for police to fumble stuff back in the 1970s. And her death was charged to a man who looked like the police sketch of a suspect in that case. This is not linked to Jeanette's case. However, it was suspicious that they were the same.
Yeah.
However, this man got charged due to purely looking like the police sketch, and he had mental issues. So it was a very easy target for the police to kind of charge and bring to prison. And many believed he didn't kill the other girl. However, whoever killed the both girls
was the same person.
The same person, yeah.
Okay.
And this man was basically the scapegoat.
So people think he's innocent.
They do. And unfortunately, I think that he went to like a prison / mental facility. Okay. I'm not sure the correct name, but he died there as well. So he
stayed there permanently.
Yeah. So
okay.
That was just another little interesting fact. So Jeanette's murder is still unsolved, and to this day, people are trying to work on it and bring it to a close. But there's little to no police cooperation. Apparently, all the records in the case were destroyed in a flood during a hurricane. However, now...
Sus.
Yeah, very sus. However, now it's known to be untrue. That is the case of Jeanette De Palma and the murder at Deviltooth Cliffs.
Okay, let me see if I have any questions. So... You might have said this. Is Deviltooth Cliffs near where both their houses were? The two girls?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it's close proximity.
So it's in just like quarry that would be on, like probably on the outskirts of town.
Probably on the outskirts of town. Because I'm kind of wondering how would they have gotten there. This is a really good one. I'm actually not sure about this one.
Okay, good to know.
But my best guess is that it's a myth.
Okay, and is that your final myth? Final...
My final myth. No more myths on the show ever.
Is that your final guess, Louise?
I think that's my final guess. I'm not sure why. It's so difficult. I think it's just like the way you phrased one or two things made me think it was a myth.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. Like, I don't feel confident in that one as I did the last time when I wrote it down in capital letters.
Yes, okay. So, well, that's good to know. We're like keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
So this story is actually a murder.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a true story. Still unsolved to this day, and people are trying to solve it. There's hardly any evidence, no eyewitnesses, no one genuinely knows what happened, and it kind of set off the scene of people in the church trying to target, Satanists, anyone who opposed their views or didn't have the same views as them, and it kind of got to the point where it hampered the investigation.
Yeah. Some of these cases that I like back then, it's kind of hard to tell whether like it was just a freak accident.
Mm-hmm.
And then people started adding all these things onto it. Like, if she wasn't religious, would they have added all the things like the occult and the Satanists and stuff?
Yes.
Was it just like a freak accident that maybe she met her friend and like
exactly
something bad happened and the friend like, escaped the scene, didn't want to get in trouble, which you'd know nowadays better but wouldn't back then. Yeah. My theory is the occult.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But now that you know that it's a murder,
yeah.
So they, in the post-mortem, they kind of suspected it was strangulation, but also conspiracy theory that her body was laid out in shapes with kind of a formation of a coffin is very untrue. And clearly the maybe first responders on the scene went back and after the fact decided that, that log lines up with this log and that looks kind of like a parallelogram shape. And it turns out there was kind of no animal sacrifices near the body. There was actually no base to the claims.
Okay.
But there was so much rumour mill around that
it's
started
impossible to know
and
what was true, what was
that
false.
There was rock formations and there was a sacrifice, and one publication actually said that her body was laid out on an altar almost. And it's very untrue and lots of conspiracy made up.
Interesting. Okay, well this is a good episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good job, Emma, you've stumped me. So this has been Murder or Myth.
And on this week's episode, Louise found out that my murder was in fact a murder and she guessed myth.
So I was wrong. Thanks for listening. This has been your host Louise and Emma. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Join us next week for another thrilling adventure.
Find us on all streaming platforms.
Remember, it's myth until proven murder.
Schlau.